Good morning again, everybody, and welcome to the Tucson Convention Center. Thank you so much for taking some time out to spend part of your day with us as we celebrate the beginning of the 9th year of Roadrunners hockey here in Tucson. And as we celebrate, we've got some great people, some great partners with us who have been with us from day one here in the old Pueblo, and their support is very much appreciated, and we love our partners, and we're glad that they could join us today. Tim Tumure, city manager from the city of Tucson, Fletcher McCusker, board chairman from Rio Nuevo, Glenn Grabsky, general manager of the Tucson Convention Center, joined alongside Steve Potvin, Roadrunners head coach to my far right, and Roadrunners team president Bob Hoffman. We'll hear from Bob to lead us off, but we'll start first with a short video we've got for you to start Roadrunners hockey for 24-25.
Roadrunners picking up and score! It's been all Tucson. For the hat trick, he scores! Oh, baby!
Going to say it is a press conference and it's an event for sure, but we want to make sure there's still some fandom here. So let's hear you one more time. Let's hear the cheer for the 2024-25 Tucson Roadrunners. Thank you so much for coming here today and being a part of this event. Getting together in the off season is always something that's special because we see you throughout the season from October to April and sometimes longer than that. And then the off season, a lot of times we lose contact or we don't have as many of these face-to-face interactions. So it's great to see everybody, to see some of our partners, some of our biggest fans that are here in the crowd. It seems like a long time ago that end of April hit us there with a little bit too quick of an exit. We'll talk about that later. But it certainly was a time to reflect and to celebrate what was a great season for the team. You look back to some of the successes on the ice, obviously one of the winningest teams in the American Hockey League, and some records set by the organization on the ice. From your perspective and from the fan side, I want to say thank you. It was a record year from that end, and seeing all the fans, new faces, some of the ones that have been here for the 8 years. As Adrian mentioned, it's hard to imagine going into our 9th season coming up here. Imagine time just flies, but you saw so many new fans, new faces. The 14% growth that the organization saw on a ticket sales side of things was the 5th largest in the American Hockey League. And there's 32 teams in that league. So that puts us in some good company. And that really is a credit to all of you guys from coming each and every night, being a part of what we put on, the entertainment that we put out there for you, and as well as letting all your friends and families and your neighbors know to come and be a part of Tucson Roadrunner hockey. We think we have something special. We think we put on a great show and have a great time for you guys. And I know that you guys certainly all are reading from that same book that are here in the room. We're going to tell everybody. We want to get everybody in Southern Arizona, and now the state of Arizona, as the Roadrunners carry the flag for the entire state as the only pro hockey team here in the state of Arizona. So excited about some of the things that are out in front of us. I want to say thank you before I get too far in. Obviously, couldn't do it without so many different parties. And you look at at the end of April, just some of the hurdles and some of the challenges, and the people that really rallied together, and mainly the fans, putting together your voices to say, we want this team here in Tucson. It's a big part of the community, and we want to continue to make it a part of this community. And obviously having the support from the folks that day in, day out do what they can to make Tucson a better place, and to make Tucson, from a growth standpoint, one of the best cities in the United States. We all live here. We know that. Mayor Romero, a huge supporter and hockey fan of ours, and making her voice heard as well, that Tucson is the town that the Roadrunners belong in. Rio Nuevo does an amazing job. I always tell Fletcher, I don't think they yell loud enough about all the great things that they do. They're kind of in the background and quiet about so many of the different things. But what Rio Nuevo accomplishes here in this city
is, many markets that I've been in different cities that I've seen the way that their politics, their governments, all the different things that they do to make things better for their constituents and for the people. I don't know if there's really a group like Rio Nuevo around the entire country. So we really want to thank Fletcher and his group for what they did, the arena, and making this a great home for us, and Glenn and what his team and his staff, many of them here today. This is the perfect home for the American Hockey League team. And, for 8 years now, we've been with so many of these folks, and some that have moved on to different roles that even are here today that used to work in the arena, but they truly are family. And, everybody in here family to us. So really, really happy, and thanks to ASM and to Glenn and the Tucson Convention Center. I mentioned, our partners a few minutes ago, but the partners couldn't do it without them. Some of them in the room here with, Bill and Mike and some of the others that I'm missing. I apologize. But, it's great to have great people that not only want to come and enjoy the game, but also that are going to talk out in the community about the good things that this organization does. And, that's a true partnership. And that's really, it's not about what can you do for us, it's what can we do for you and what can we do for each other. I see obviously Beef here, so many knowing Beef, as the voice of the arena, of the host of the Roadrunners during the games. But I bring him up only because from the company he works for and the different doors that Beef opens for the Roadrunners, it truly shows what partnership is all about and what that means. And, we couldn't possibly exist without all of that. Our fans, obviously, and our season ticket members, the biggest pieces of our organization, and the group that obviously comes and lives the highs and the lows with us, night in, night out, and are a part of all the great things that this organization has put forward and accomplished in 8 years. And the future is bright, and we're looking forward to our exciting 9th season. And that gets underway. I'm able to announce here today, it's just 122 days. So mark the calendars. We'll start counting down to the opener. But the home opener for the Roadrunners will be Saturday, October the 19th. So make sure you mark your calendars. You want to be here for that one, as that's going to be a big celebration for the team starting its 9th season here. Looking back at some of the things that I think make me the most proud of this organization and what we do in the community. Dusty, in the back there bouncing around, 128 appearances since the start of last season. If you're at an event in Tucson, odds are you probably saw Dusty or you saw something from the Roadrunners there. That's a big piece of what we've always tried to accomplish, and what we will continue to do is to be a part of the fabric of the community. So, that's something that a lot of times you get caught up in the day-to-day and you don't always kind of reflect. Dusty, I make write on a dry erase board every time Dusty gets back from an appearance before the bird has to go to bed and sleep for a while. Mark down the new appearance and mark down that number so we can keep track of how many times that Dusty's out there making noise for the Roadrunners on the ice, which is what a lot of you care about, obviously, in that fandom, and you want to see the wins and you want to see players develop. There's no better team in the American Hockey League. We've been able, through this man over here, to develop, to put guys who, when they get to the NHL and who have great success in the NHL, like a Michael Bunting, like a Connor Garland, who directly mention Steve Potvin as one of the biggest catalysts that got them to that next level, and what he does to drive their career and to make them not better on the ice only, but also professionals off the ice. Our players are in great hands with this coaching staff. And for Steve being in the 4th year in this capacity, he's an original Roadrunner. He's been here since the beginning in a fashion as a skating coach, to getting the guys going in that first year, to an assistant coach, and now leading our efforts behind the bench. And from a community leader, none better. And we are very grateful to have Steve with us. He'll talk to you all here in a little bit, but 61 players over the course of 8 seasons developed from the Roadrunners that are playing in the NHL. That's staggering. I mean, that number of lives that we've impacted, and that what we've done to put them to that next level. The success from a guy like Dylan Strome, who 20 plus goals a season in the NHL, to a guy like Aiden Hill, who went and raised the cup last year, a year ago, with Vegas. So having those successes are certainly a big part of what we're all about. I want to make sure you guys are entertained, that you guys, have, that ownership and that piece of the Tucson Roadrunners. But a big part of what we want to make sure we do, and even if it's behind the scenes and a little quiet, is to make sure we take guys from Tucson and put them up into the National Hockey League. being a part of the youth movement here from a hockey standpoint in the growth of the game of hockey is important to us. The junior Roadrunners last year had close to 20 times our players on the ice with them, practicing and teaching them the better parts of the game. And during a shorter season like they have, that's a lot. That's getting guys out essentially a couple of times a week that are out there teaching them. Our goaltenders going and working with the goaltenders, players going out just tirelessly putting that effort forward. We'll continue to do that here in the community. So I'm done rambling. I am truly grateful and blessed, and I appreciate this support from in this room and from all of our fan base. And that's the reason that this 9th season is certainly going to be so much more special than any of the others. So glad you're along for the ride. Thank you for coming here today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Tim and from the city of Tucson.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you all for being here. I'll be very brief. We're very proud to be the home of the Tucson Roadrunners. We're excited that they're here for additional time. Adding the extra year onto the back end of our existing contract is signaling to Tucson that the Tucson Roadrunners are here to stay. And our job is to make sure that they have a great environment to play in, a great community outreach, and great fan support. So thank you all for doing that. Speaking as one of the initial inaugural season ticket holders and the first person to buy a polo from the cart at the back of that event. I'm very personally pleased that we were able to pull this off to keep the team here in Tucson and keep Roadrunners hockey alive. Thank you very much for that. And with that, I'll turn it over to my partner, Fletcher McCusker.
He's quite humble, but we wouldn't be here without Tim's work behind the scenes. For those of you that are fans, a little inside baseball, well, inside hockey, the petition that you generated was in the Board of Governors packet when they opened that packet up to discuss this team's relocation to Tempe. That made probably more difference than anything any of us did, was to see the level of fan support to other team owners. You have to remember how Hockey Board of Governors work. The people that were going to vote on whether or not to move to Tempe are owners of other teams. And they immediately saw the fan appreciation and the value of keeping this team in Tucson. Except for that, we would otherwise be having this press conference in Tempe. Behind the scenes, another reason that we're here is because we love the Roadrunners. This was never adversarial. The first Zoom meeting we had with ownership, our city manager is wearing a Roadrunners cap. And it was irresistible. You know, we were not there to battle. We were not there to criticize their decisions. We made it clear from the beginning, we wanted the Roadrunners here. The fans wanted Roadrunners here. The city wanted the Roadrunners here. Rio Nuevo, as the owner of this venue, wanted the Roadrunners here. And we knew that this was an economic challenge. The value that this district has, Rio Nuevo is the only tax incentive district in the state. We have a statutory mandate to make smart economic development decisions. We think one of the smartest we did was when we brought the Roadrunners to this arena 8 years ago. The second smartest decision we made was to work to keep them here. And it did cost some of your tax money. We invested in their rent. We invested in your ticket price. But imagine what economic impact would have been had they left. It's 150,000 fans that would not be buying a ticket in Tucson. That's 150,000 fans. I'm embellishing, but you're going to be there this year.
Round up.
Yeah, round it up. That would not be coming downtown. That would not be eating, drinking before a game, staying after a game. The economic impact of that to us who study these things is almost $10 million a year. So our decision to spend a few $100,000 to keep the team satisfied the team's concern about the economic difference between Tucson and Tempe. And it meant not only did the Roadrunners stay here, but our city and downtown Tucson benefit to the tune of $10 million a year. And I'm here to thank you for that. There's some other people that are very important to this process. Alex Jr. You know, they catch a lot of crap. They were leaning in from day one on how this could work. They were cooperative. They were in conversations with us daily. Between us and the city, certain governmental things had to happen, but we never saw any demands made of us. Everything we did was collaborative, collective, the better good of the team, in the best good of the league. We want this to be an AHL community forever and in the best interest of the team. And that magic occurred because of the people that are here and the couple of people that are not. One of them is certainly Alex Jr. And the other, who gave a brief introduction, we would not be here except for Bob Hoffman. Now you can imagine the predicament he's in when his owners announced that they're moving the team to Tempe. And he can't say over my dead body because there would have been a dead body. So he had to help convince all of us that this would work. And he did it in such a diplomatic way that it won a lot of people over. And I can tell you that it won over the commissioner of the American Hockey League, the chairman of the board of governors of the American Hockey League. It won over the team ownership, and it made my job and Tim's job a lot easier. And we would seriously not be standing here today except for Bob. So like Tim, I've been a fan since day one. I debated wearing my jersey, but I thought that would be like, yeah, he's got his Roadrunner wristband. And to the management, what Glenn and Kate do for you, you know, we're going to skate 30 games here. We only lost a game because of the gym show. You may or may not know that we've always worked around the gym show. So, you know, we have only played 31 games here, and now we're going to play 30. So it's a huge win for Tucson, huge win for the fans. We want you to go out and recruit all your friends because, you know, that arena should be full as a result of the work that we're doing. But I'm very grateful to the fan base, Mark Kerr and others who were instrumental in rallying you around in writing. If you don't know, the petition that reached the league had 3,500 signatures on it. That's more than most minor league hockey arenas have as a fan base. And we sent that many petitions supporting the Roadrunners staying here. So congratulations. Thank you, everyone. We did a little small part, and we're going to keep doing it. Roadrunners rock. Thank you.
Good afternoon or morning. My name is Glenn Grabsky. I've been general manager here at the Tucson Convention Center, Tucson Arena for 9.5 years. I'm going to be short and sweet, but I always worry about following Tim and Fletcher because they're going to eat up anything I had written down. For me, you know, AHL professional hockey's been in Tucson now for 8 years and 1 month. During that time, the brand Roadrunners have become synonymous with Tucson as much as the Mud Hens have come with Toledo. Rio Nuevo's and the city of Tucson's unwavering support of this team started the moment the contract was signed. It's been unwavering the whole time. Before the ink was dry, we were tearing up downstairs and get this building ready to make it AHL quality, a $3.2 million project. And since that time, other financial commitments include a $3.3 million upgrade in the ice floor and the ice chiller, upgrades in fan presentations as ribbon boards, and numerous other projects for behind-the-scenes game presentation. Since the Roadrunners have been here, There's been a huge increase in youth and adult league hockey, to the point that the demand for ice time is nearly doubled. We're running out of time. There's only 24 hours in a day. So very thankful for that as well. From opening night on October 28, 2016, and for 258 games after that, the TCC has employed, just on our side, 150 people per game for that night. That works out to over 240,000 man hours and over $4.3 million in wages paid. These are people that come here and work here for 5-6 hours a night. Coach and Bob, you've been an absolute pleasure to work with. Those of you that know anything about teams or been in other buildings, it doesn't always work out that way. So I'm very fortunate to have both of them. And Coach has turned a bunch of greenhorns into professionals and that play very hard every game. And if they don't, you can tell the next practice. Bob has done a fantastic job with game presentations, promotions, but more importantly, the community involvement. This team is part of Tucson. It's not a carpetbagger. They're part of this community. And it's been a pleasure working with you both. Lastly, and I'm not embellishing, I'm looking forward to our 1 millionth fan this next year. I'm not quite sure what game that's going to be, but 1 million will be through the doors. Thank you all.
That was certainly way too kind. Honestly, I want to start off by saying how thrilled I am to be here to be able to represent the Tucson Roadrunners. We can't thank and express our gratitude enough to our partners. The city of Tucson, Tucson Convention Center, Rio Nuevo, our corporate sponsors, our dedicated fans. I can't tell you how proud I am to really say that our partners share our same vision of growth and giving. And honestly, it's something that we talk about every day. And as I walk from my apartment in downtown and I make my way to the convention center, you can see the amount of growth and giving that happens in Tucson. And I can't tell you how proud that makes everyone feel, especially our staff. When you look at our player involvement and what they do in the community, I'm very thankful, and I want to thank our players' contribution to, what they do. They come out and they really enjoy being with the fans and the kids, and they share their love of the game and their passion for the game. And our staff does the exact same thing. It includes obviously Bob, Adrian, Kim, Brett, and lastly Dusty, last but not least, Dusty. I mean, she's out there every single day grinding, and it's great, and you can see the impact that it has. And from our general manager to our assistant general manager to our player development staff to our coaching staff to our trainers, we're dedicated to do all that we can to make 2024-25 another memorable season. And honestly, we can't wait to get back at it, and we couldn't be prouder to do it right here in Tucson. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate your support. Let's go Tucson.
The headline there, if you missed it, Dusty is a sheep.
Oops. Oops.
Thanks, guys. We have a few minutes. We can take some questions from our media here. Ryan and Mirsa have our wireless mics, so just raise your hand. Let us know what outlet you're with, your name, and who your question is directed towards. So we'll get the mics over if any of our local media have any questions.
From the audience, too, I think.
Jenna Fink from News 4 Tucson. Question for Bob. You mentioned those conversations that you were having. What were those conversations with Alex Morello like when trying to, convince them and to get the team to stay here?
Thanks, Jenna, for the question. Really good dialogue, really from an organization. We all have one vision in mind. We always have gone for the entire time that I've been with the Arizona Coyotes organization and down here in Tucson as one pack. And as a group, we've worked extremely well together. And so we all have that same vision for what the sport of hockey means. It's the sport I've been involved in for 28 years. And it's something that, means a lot. And to have the support of this ownership group and so many great and talented people that we've worked with and collaborated with that were previous Arizona Coyotes employees, that part was really easy as far as trying to see that silver lining, if you will, and what the future looked like, and to see how many talented people were going to be making a part of this organization and keeping it growing, evolving, and becoming the best that we can be. Then it became really what was the best situation for this team and for this organization from an ownership standpoint. When they looked at it, making the Roadrunners a state team is certainly very attractive. And I love carrying that flag and that mantle. And I think that that's something we're going to do a great job with over the course of the next season and beyond. And it just, I think, came to really this group up here, Jenna, and the rallying that went behind that and those conversations to say, we are very wanted in Tucson. We have great fans, great partners, and great community leaders that are behind us. And Glenn kind of mentioned earlier about between the building relationship and team relationships, not always that great. I can tell you from many of the different entities and the different cities that I've been a part of and been in, to have that relationship with city leadership is very rare. And to have that collaboration is something I think that really, truly did paint the picture of how successful this organization, can be, the growth we've had and how successful we can be. And that bar is very high. And, we need everybody's support in here. We need everybody's support outside. And it's just, as Fletcher mentioned, let's pack that arena each and every night and really grow everything that this team means, not only to Tucson. We know here in Tucson. Now it's something we want to make sure that the entire hockey world knows about.
Yeah, hi, Jason Barr, KGUD 9, ABC station here in Tucson. This question could be for either Bob or Fletcher. How much does this vote on June 29th with Alex Morello and the plot of land affect you, would you say?
I'm not sure I heard it entirely.
About
the land auction.
The land auction, yeah.
I can comment at least, June 27th is the date of the land auction. So a week from today. And when you see the vision that ownership has and what that's going to do for the entire Phoenix area, the entire Valley, but again, also for the state and that continued growth of hockey, it's truly exciting. It's a landmark facility that has unbelievable entities that go with it. And it's something I think that, the vision just now needs that vote to come through, or the auction to happen on next Thursday, so that next step can be taken, from there. How that impacts the Roadrunners really over the next handful of years, as that facility is going to take some time to be built once the auction is won. How that impacts the Roadrunners is very minimal from what this team can do and how we'll conduct ourselves in the community and how we'll conduct ourselves statewide. Is that'll be a while till that building gets built. It actually gives, I think, the Roadrunners a great opportunity to, as I said earlier, be the state's team and to plant that flag all the way from Flagstaff all the way down to the border. So from that side, I don't think it'll impact it a lot, but it certainly will be a very exciting day next Thursday, and one that the organization is looking forward to. And it can't get here quick enough.
We tried to separate that here because we can't control that, obviously. But one of the things that Tim mentioned is we did encourage the city and the team to extend their lease So the Roadrunners lease was going to term out in 2 years. We've actually now increased that to 3 more years. So I think we were able to give and take with the team, so they make a longer term commitment to us. And whatever happens up there, there's going to need to be a farm team, and we want that to be the Roadrunners.
Time for one more question.
Hi, Sean Mahoney, 13 News. This question will either be for Bob or Fletcher again. I want to know, Fletcher, you had mentioned the impact of that, the fan poll and the petition in this decision. And for Bob, I know at the beginning when Morello was making some of those statements about the uniformity of trying to move the team to Tucson, I'm wondering if you can kind of explain where that needle moved and how much of that fan petition kind of played a role in that ultimate decision.
Is this working on the? So I think there were a combination of things that were very persuasive to the team. One was the fan base and willingness to express that. I've never seen a petition with that many signatures on it, with that kind of passion, get circulated quickly. Moreover, everyone they talked to was, how can we help you? You know, we understand the economic issues. We understand that if you skate in Tempe, the team makes more money. We understand there's a rent issue. How can we help you address these problems? So every single thing was cooperative. And again, I said, and Bob has said this, a lot of times team owners, particularly billionaire team owners, the relationship between their government sponsors, their government landlord, is very adversarial. This was not one moment was there demands made by them or insisted. It was cooperative at every measure. I have to believe the fan participation in that, the fact that that got to the Board of Governors meeting. You know, that was the first thing they opened when they went to that meeting, was this petition. Made a huge difference in terms of the team's willingness to talk to us. And I don't think I'm speaking out of school here, but in our first conversation with the team, they expressed kind of humorously, they're not used to that. They're not used to talking to people that actually want them. And we made it clear to them that that's exactly where we were. We want to figure out a way to make this work. Tim had to work with the mayor and council to extend the lease. We had to work with Rio Nuevo to, help adjust some of the economics. We also worked with the fans and with the venue to reduce your ticket price. All that came together kind of magically.
What I can add to that is just, we want to make an impact, and that certainly, you ask if it moved the needle and what that looked like from our perspective from the team to see the fans rally the way they did. That certainly showed, you like to think you're making an impact, but you don't always know. And that showed in the team's eyes, at least, that there was an impact being made and that this community had rallied behind the organization and they, let their voice be heard. And it certainly was impactful to us and a great baseline for us to continue to kind of really, launch up and try to find a way to continue to make bigger and better impacts.
And if I may, I'm going to pile on a little bit with pointing out what may seem obvious, but I just want to make sure it's stated. That was fan driven. That wasn't orchestrated. That wasn't the city saying do this. That wasn't the team saying do this. It was fans like you in this room and across the city that said, this means the world to us to keep the Roadrunners in Tucson. And you did that through networking, through social media, through the grapevine, and through the 30 texts I got from Mark Kerr. If you don't know Mark Kerr, you've definitely heard Mark Kerr with the Let's Go Tucson chant. But it's just amazing because that groundswell was genuine, it was authentic, and it was effective. And that's the fans doing something that the Rio Nuevo, the city, and the team could leverage to help. So my gratitude to all of you who signed up for that, who spread the word, because you did have an impact.
I think the other thing that may be obvious, we encouraged some skating in Tempe. we think that's going to be good for the state. You know, there's going to be 6 games up there. Let's all go up there. You know, spend the weekend in Phoenix, go to a couple of hockey games. They have to skate them together. You know, so that didn't necessarily hurt us because it's a scheduling thing that we have to work around anyhow. So the chance for the Roadrunners to show Phoenix our hockey team is a good thing, we think. And we never said it's them or us, or we're not going to do that, or you know, it was always a design to improve everything for everybody. And when you do that, things kind of come together. So yeah, we're going to skate 6 games in Tempe, and you know, we're probably more likely to fill that arena up than their locals.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for watching online on our Roadrunners AHL social platforms. Thanks to Glenn Grabsky, General Manager of the TCC, Fletcher McCusker, Board Chairman for Rio Nuevo, Tim Tumure, City Manager for the City of Tucson, Roadrunners President Bob Hoffman, and Roadrunners Head Coach Steve Potvin. Season tickets on sale now for this upcoming season, TucsonRoadrunners.com, and we'll see you back here at the TCC, if not before, around town on Saturday, October 19th. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. A good lunch. We got you out in time for lunch. 3-day weekend, hopefully. And as Steve Potvin just said, let's go Tucson.